celebrating successes. Because we run such a massive database across all building types, we love to celebrate this group at the top of this chart are the top saving hospitals over the past 5 years, just greening healthcare members. We're now looking at the whole province and the publicly reported data to track equivalent information. But the top saving hospitals are the group there, and the 5 that we want to just profile today have achieved over the last 5 more than 20% savings. And interestingly, a number of them are brand new hospitals that have saved from where they came in. So we learn from this group at the top. These are the savers. The group at the bottom are where we really focus our attention and help, because the reality is that hospitals are dynamic. They don't just chug along day after day doing the same thing over again. Controls get overridden. Schedules get changed. People complain. Adjustments get made. Equipment deteriorates. So generally left unattended, energy use gets worse. So that's a reality of life. So that little group at the bottom, those are in very often undetected changes that happen in the facilities where the energy has gone in the reverse direction. The summary tables that Michael's put together are the net effect. So we celebrate the positives. 36 hospitals had substantial electricity savings. We recognize and pay attention to the net, but it's the net that matters. Climate doesn't care about what went wrong and what got broken, or baseline adjustments. Couldn't care less about those things. It's critical. But this is our group of winners. We look at the top 5. Women's College, recognized in our last year report over the past 5 years. Major improvement, brand new hospital, being really well tended for by the facility manager there, Black & McDonald. And it's continuous controls optimization, which will be the continuing story, which, Bob, goes right back to your thoughts about the digital part of this really matters. Hospitals are way too complicated to hope that things are going to work out manually. So Women's College looks a lot like this when they started getting serious about this. And Bob, you'll recognize these curves because they look just like yours. The electricity savings on the top, the left-hand corner, where the blue dots are the actual monthly consumption, the red dots are the weather normalized baseline, and you see the separation, and that's what it looks like when you get it right, and it's consistent and it keeps improving. The steam consumption's in the bottom right-hand corner going in the same direction. So congratulations to Women's College. We love the case study we did on you last year, and we're going to be updating it to make sure we're on top of this. Milton District Hospital. Again, brand new P3 facility, started as one of the more intensive hospitals in our overall benchmark. Actually, to begin with, more intensive than the hospital it replaced. And extraordinary work by JCI and the hospital, making continuous improvements, coming to grips with the complex plant, heat recovery chillers, condensing boilers. How do you orchestrate those things? Again, a very similar story. Brand new hospital, continuous controls optimization, looks a lot like this. Look what happened to the gas consumption after the fact. And guess what? That chart on the bottom right, that's greenhouse gas emissions. In Ontario, our electricity is pretty clean. So major reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and God bless you for it. This is again, not just congratulations and recognition. It's this, there are lessons within this that we can and will be building upon. Dean, going over to your team, the William Gajal-Lac-La-Biche Hospital, again, a case study 2 or 3 years ago as they got to work. Given my accent, I'm happy that it was an Englishman. Dave came in there and shook things up, but so champions and passion, that's such an important part of this. We'd like to think it's all trends and mathematics and so on, but watching that team take hold, which is why I'm so impressed with how you've created that culture within AHS, such a massive organization, but everybody we meet at the site level gets. But this idea, once again, Bob, that the building automation system enabled doing better work, and without good digital functionality, it's really hard to make it work. This new culture, the new attitude towards energy that was brought in there, and having, as you mentioned, Dean, your Office of Sustainability there to help all the time. We get such complimentary feedback from all the sites about every time we pick up the phone, there's somebody there for us, and they got good advice for us, and they're there to help. And the idea, as you say, now you actually have electricians on staff to step in and do some of the things that have to be done that simplify the procurement process. So our congratulations to William J. Cadzow. And that's what its numbers look like. Again, you see the gas in particular coming down dramatically in the bottom right-hand corner, but significant steps forward on electricity. And all of these hospitals get this monthly reporting so that you can react immediately to what's going on. And last but not least, actually penultimate. So this is number 4. So Humber River Hospital, again, we've told the story a few times now, Bob, and but once again, it's been taking a complex plant, making it work. But I think, as you've explained today, more importantly, getting everybody on side with us. Everybody's aware, everybody cares, everybody's playing their part. So Humber River, you'll hear this again this afternoon. It started as the most energy efficient acute care hospital in our benchmark chart, and it's since reduced energy by almost a quarter. So it started the best and got better. So that's the inspiration, setting new standards, new benchmarks, new levels that everybody else aspires to. And that's, again, you'll see this again this afternoon. That's what this looks like. It's quite extraordinary. So no significant capital expenditure, no change to plant and equipment, just taking what we've got and running as best we can, which is human as well as technical, and is very definitely digital. And the North York General Branson, a bit different. It's substantially unoccupied, but there's still 3 tenants in there, and they're building a new hospital facility within the site. And as we ran back through that, it was largely unoccupied right through this period. It took Simba within North York General Hospital rolling up his sleeves and saying, I can save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by taking the time, making the effort to control the systems within this old hospital. Didn't have great digital functionality, had people on site that wanted to help and were willing to do the scheduling, had to respect the tenants that were in the building and the construction and development that's ongoing right now, but massive reductions in terms of both electricity and gas consumption. That's our top 5. This is going to be ongoing reporting through here, because again, we can learn most from what's already working out there. We can learn what gets in the way, what the pitfalls are. So that's our top savers. I want to bring up one last piece that we'll pick up with Steve Reese this afternoon, in terms of we're also interested in our top performers. So saving energy to go from bad to average is really important, but achieving the top performance, that's where the action comes. So, Greening Healthcare with CHES and with IHFE is working on the idea of learning from the most efficient hospitals in the world. So the last 12 months, we've opened the doors to the Australians, the Brits. You'll hear from ARCUS this afternoon on the progress towards net zero. We're working directly with the NHS on that progress. But here are, this is an international benchmark chart, weather normalized in this case to Toronto, but push of the button, we can move it to California or to UK or anywhere else. These are among, so the database now is well over 1,000 buildings. It's all publicly reported data. We've extracted from here the subset of major acute care hospitals over 100,000 square feet. And this is what the 282 of these look like. And we have the open invitation out to the rest of the world to send us your best. So we can keep adding them to this benchmark, and then everybody gets bumped. And you're right, Bob, guess what? People are a little bit competitive. And there was never been a more healthy competition in the history of the world than we're going through to be the most greenhouse gas and energy efficient hospital out there. So that's what we hope to announce at the IFHE conference next September, which is being held in person in Toronto. where is the most efficient, and to be able to put some time into studying the top performers and coming out with the common characteristics. Because some of those top performers are new, most of them are existing older legacy hospitals that have just really got smart about how to make things work well. So right now, this is the leaderboard. Here's the current top 20, and I'll leave it up here for a little bit of time, so so you get to find yourself. But and knowing that you're not competitive at all, Barbara, I know you're not upset with the Tunbridge Wells Hospital even a little bit, but there they are. And some of the interesting things here, the British hospitals or the English hospitals are remarkably low on electricity use and quite similar to North American hospitals on thermal energy use, which is a problem because their electricity is completely clean now, as we'll hear this afternoon, because they contracted to buy green power. The thermal, we're in the greenhouse gas soup together because it's the thermal side of the equation here. But here are our current rankings. Every group of hospitals that joins the cause. We'll bump some of these out and we'll take their place and will be studied to understand what is it that makes them special, and that's the intelligence we hope to deliver next summer, because this really is the roadmap, the guideline, the blueprint for how everybody gets to be as efficient as they can be. So recognizing the top 20, bring us your best, learning from the most efficient hospitals in the world. That's our #1 and most fun. I think somebody said that this is feel-good stuff. It is. This is fascinating, and there's nothing like taking a new owner and plunking their facilities into this chart and having, sometimes they're all towards the top, feels good. Sometimes they're all towards the bottom, doesn't feel so good. And sometimes they don't make it to anywhere near the top 20, even though they may be reputed to be top performers. So as always, the proof of the pudding is in the eating or is in the data, and the data are helping us find the most efficient hospitals. We plan to share the best practices from those hospitals to let everybody be the best they can be. This is the best network effect, the best viral effect that we could imagine.